Chickity check, check.
Oh, hi. Kitties. So, let me fix the lighting. Let's put more lighting in front of my face.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tuesday night. So excited to see you guys here. So excited to see the old listeners back. So excited to see some new listeners joining us for the first time. We are excited to be along for the ride, excited to have some new friends with us, and we are excited to put on a fantastic show for you tonight. Now, some of you might have noticed that we have some fancy new stuff going on the screen, and I hope that's okay with you. If you're suffering any sort of audio or video issues while we're going, please feel free to jump in and say something in the chat, or if you know me personally, go ahead and shoot me a text and say, bro, I can't hear you, I can't see you, that looks or sounds like shit. I hope that's not the case. In just a couple of minutes, I'm going to go on and bring our special guest on for tonight. But that special guest did make a special request of me. I always start the night with a song, and tonight will be no exception. This is a special request from our guest tonight. And because it's the first night on a new platform, and because it's my first night with the cool little banner going across the bottom of the screen, I'm going to go ahead and do something special. And I got my backing band here with me. And by backing band, I mean backing tracks. And I hope that works okay for the rest of you. I'm going to go ahead and sing one off my last album. This goes out to tonight's special guest. We'll meet her in just a couple of minutes. Away we go. Get my microphone. It's a prop. It's a prop that makes me feel comfortable. There it is. All right. Now, if you've never heard the song before, I want you to go ahead and learn this simple part with me. You only have to know 3 words, which are make it right. I'm going to sing it for you one more time, or for the first time. It goes do 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 do. Do. Here's your part. You're going to sing Make It Right with me. You're going to sing Make It Right. Make it right. Here we go. Sometimes when I wake up, the sunshine feels kind of dull. My head's spinning in circles. And every decision's impossible. Me and my therapist talking. She said you might need something more. So get down to the shrink and get yourself a piece of paper that you can take to your local drugstore for a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, anxious, depressive, all symptoms exhibitor. Make it right. I know you guys know it. Sing with me. Make it right. Now listen, my belly's feeling heavy, but my head's just a little less light. And I'm finally moving in the right direction after swapping my perfect eyesight. Now the doctor said there'd be trade-offs. With the good comes a bad. So now I gotta try to strike a balance to undo the imbalance that I already had with the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, anxious, depressive, all symptoms exhibitor. Make it right. Come on, make it right. Make it right. Gonna sing it again. Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. Anxious, depressive, all symptoms exhibitor. I make it right. Make it right. Make it right. Make it right. Listen, Zoloft made my dick soft. Didn't know if and when to eat. And Luvox kept me up nights and shit in the sheets. I selected Celexa, but became Alexa Pro. No Prozac, no Boston, no doctor, no. No doctor, no. Anxious, depressing. Make it right. Come on and make it right. Make it right. Make it right. Come on, make it right. With a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. I'm an anxious, depressive. Come on and make it right if you can make it right. Now, if you're out there and you're on meds, make sure you take your meds. And if you don't need meds, congratulations. But if you're judging me for taking my meds, go fuck yourself. Sorry. I was feeling a little saucy there. The music's going to start fading out at any moment now, and it's going to be a perfect segue to the next segment of our show. I hope we got things started off right. I hope everybody's having a fantastic Tuesday. I hope everybody's feeling really good about themselves and maybe even about the world at this point. I know it's not an easy thing to do, but cheers to everybody I know. I hope things are going well. I have a little drink in my hand. I'm going to make sure that I go ahead and primp my beer just a little bit. Cone goes a long way. Oh, look, my screen looks like a mirror. It's like fucking magical. It's unbelievable. All right, I think that's about enough for that. So check it out. Welcome to my Tuesday night live stream. I'm very excited to have you all here with me. I'm excited to be here because it's Tuesday, and this is what we do. And this is what I've been doing for the last several months. Not only have I been performing live on screen on Tuesdays, but I've been really lucky to have some fantastic guests join me for the last several months. And I have more fantastic guests booked to join me from now until the end of this dastardly year, 2020. I've already started looking at booking 2021. And if you know of a great guest that would be great on this show, please reach out to me via the book face, the YouTube, the email, or whatever way you want to, and let me know who should be on this show with me. Cool? Now, speaking of on this show with me, I'm really excited to bring on my guest tonight, because this is somebody that I go back quite a ways with, and our paths have crossed and intertwined, and she has always been an incredible supporter of everyone around her. It's enough to say that she's a fantastic songwriter, a fantastic performer and recording artist and touring artist and all the other things in her own right. But her ability to do all of those things completely independently and on her own steam, and at the same time allow other people to ride on those coattails, allow other people to kind of like be part of the action that she attracts, is really, really a magical thing. And I'm really excited to be able to bring her on to play some songs with you tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only Sarah Donner. Sarah, how you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. I just get a text from our mutual friend Jay that said that the cam was not muted.
So they probably heard us talking about how beautiful your beard is.
Oh, really? Well, I meant to mute you, but
we were singing harmony with your song.
It's okay. It was only like 2 beats behind. It's all good. You know what happened? I didn't understand the technology. I didn't know if you could sound check yourself while I had you muted on my end, and I wanted to be able to sound check yourself. And apparently everything worked out just fine.
It was great.
Here we are.
It all worked out fine. It was totes magoo.
We're all here. Awesome.
Fine.
So, welcome to the show, Sarah. Welcome to
Hi,
my
thank
little
you for
slice of the
having
internet. You are most welcome. Thank you for having me on your totally excellent internet show, which we will talk about in just a little while. But, you know, I played that first song tonight because you asked me to. Now, you've heard a lot of my fucking songs over the years. You've sung some of my songs with me. And I feel like you're somewhat conversant with my catalog. So I was really excited to ask you as a guest what you might want to hear tonight. Because I knew that you were coming from a place of, like, you know, intelligence. So you asked me to sing that song that I just sang.
Yeah.
And I did sing it, and it felt good. And my backing band fucking crushed it, as always.
I really like that. Like, that works.
Does it?
It's like, mwah. Yes.
Well, this is actually the way that I recorded it. Like, on the studio version, it's literally me and my background singers and a saxophone player in somebody's apartment with the tracks playing on like a speaker like this and just recording into the best microphone in the universe, my phone.
It's pretty good. I've used the phone. I use the phone for like a lot of things, a lot of videos, whatever. Yeah.
Now, I think that one of the reasons you asked to hear that song, aside from the fact that maybe you like it, was because it deals with some topics that I also know that you have been really open and, is it right to say, excited about dealing with in your own music for the last couple of years?
I think excited or just inspired, maybe inspired by, I don't know. I feel like excitement, there's a certain amount of joy that comes with excitement. I don't know if that depression is always goes with the joy, but I'm excited, but I am excited when I hear other people, tearing down the stigma walls or just, normalizing it and talking about it. I think that's really important,
Agreed.
in the day and age of
all years. There is definitely kind of a shift in the songwriting world to be a little more open and honest about these things. Mm-hmm. I think it's because a whole generation of songwriters younger than I am came up with it being less of a stigma. So they feel more comfortable talking about it openly. And one of my favorite, I guess we'll say, mental health songwriters is Julian Baker. I love everything she does. And she generally deals with things in kind of a spacey and a heavy way, which I appreciate, but that's not the language I speak. And I really appreciate that when you write about these things, you're also not just writing about them from a heavy or wallowy place. Not that you don't feel those feelings, but shining light on it sounds funny and making light of it sounds wrong. But I think that you have a knack for putting a really positive spin on the way you talk about any of your own mental health struggles through your music. How do you find the directionalism to do that?
First of all, I really, really appreciate that. Yeah, I try. Don't worry. There's a whole album of songs of things that haven't been published, which are the down mopey but I try to balance that, in terms of what I put out to the world. I try to balance that with a more lighthearted. I like to make people laugh. I don't like to bring people down. And so even when I do talk about or sing about something serious, I do try to put a lighthearted approach to it, just because I think it's heavy enough by itself. It's heavy enough with a stigma. Can we talk about it and also have just a little bit of a chortle, if you will?
Ooh, chortle.
Chortle. Because if you step away from a lot of, if I step away from my own mental illness, I can look into it, and then we've all been in therapy and counseling for years and years, and one of the things that I feel like counseling and therapy helps you with is to take a step back to look at your behavior and to not be shameful about it, but just to kind of start to dissect it and like, why are you behaving or reacting this way? And so in that way, I feel like songwriting helps me approach it in that similar way.
Awesome. I love it. And I've always admired your work and loved watching you do it. And as you took a turn towards that in the last bunch of years, I've been able to connect with it on a personal level way more. And that's been a nice, like, it's been a nice perk. I was already enjoying your music as a songwriter and just as a listener and as your friend. But then to be able to kind of put myself in it in a way that maybe I couldn't before felt really good. So I thank you for putting that stuff into your work and maybe in some ways allowing me to do the same, you know.
I think I really appreciate that. I think that and me talking about it also comes, or singing about it comes from, you know, other permissions that were like, it's okay to talk about it. And so like, oh, okay. And so I feel like, yeah, it's a good snowball effect to talk about our struggles and stuff like that. So I appreciate that, you know, what I do affects other listeners. And so that's also really important from a songwritery, like egotistical approach of like, is anybody listening? And when you find out they are, you're like, okay, I can, all right, it matters. I mean, I would love to say that I don't care what anybody thinks, but I'm not that kind of a person. So I appreciate that.
Well, speaking of you and ego and songwritery things, would you play us a song?
I would play you a song or perhaps two.
So you know what? I would get out of, well, you know what? Let's see how excited we are by the first song.
Okay.
And if we're regular excited, we'll roll right into the second song. But if we're like super excited, I might have to jump in and just talk about my excitement because I'm kind of a nerd like that.
All
so
right,
ladies and gentlemen, take it away, Sarah Donner.
All right. I'm just going to jump right into the mental health song. I'm just going to no holds back. Yeah. You woke up and dressed and made it out alive. It's an accomplishment till someone says just smile. So you punch them in the face, metaphorically. Close your eyes, take a breath, grit your teeth. You could just disappear, never say goodbye. But then you live in fear of what it's like to die. And some don't understand why you need those pills, why you can't shake it off, and why you never will. When you're loved more than you could know, but you feel like you're on your own, in the dirt, in the dark of the deepest hole. Your brain is an asshole. You're a professional, asked to play the lead, paralyzed, but all their eyes are focused on your feet. And each decision is left to second guess. It's all too much and not enough, and sits upon your chest. If you're watching the clock at dawn, and you can't turn the TV off when you can't sing along to your favorite song, well, your brain is an asshole. Oh, yeah. And no, we are not special because of our disease. It's just nice to get along. song that we can't sing about your brain, my brain, Chris Q. Murphy's brain, our brain. This cat, there's a cat right over here, and I'm pretty sure she's on board too. Your brain is an asshole. When you're a lot more than you could know, but you feel like you're on your own, on dirt in the dark of the deepest hole. Your brain is an asshole. Your brain is an asshole. Oh, I can't hear Chris. Where'd you go? Chris, you're muted.
I'm not anymore.
Okay.
There I am. I said, I just said your name, and I said that you're awesome, and then I just said that you're going to play another song.
Yep.
Because you're going to play another song.
Sure.
So play another song.
Okay, here I go. It's time for another song. We're going to lighten it up. Yeah, the song is about a game. Everyone's favorite game. Except mine. Friday night. Sitting at the table. All your friends with facial hair are here. They've got dice that are so expensive, like really expensive. Who spends that much on dice? You invite me to your party. Suddenly I have to fold laundry, 'cause I won't play Dungeons and Dragons. It's not gonna happen, not tonight. It looks hard, like you gotta do math and use your imagination. I don't get why you sit for hours on a game that no one wins in the end. And you set up a guy named Dave behind a cardboard wall, and you call him the M. Games are work when they're so demanding. Can't we just play Uno? 'Cause I won't play Dungeons and Dragons. It's not gonna happen, not tonight. It looks hard, like you gotta do math and use your imagination. Maybe it's me and my commitment issues. I'll disappoint you. Maybe it's me and fear of confrontation. When every die you roll turns into a fight between a floating disc and basilisk, featherfall, prismatic wall, manticore, minotaur, nightmare, owl bear, paladin, barbarian, cleric, priest, unholy beast, dragonborn, Valhalla horn, hellthorns, and unicorn. I won't play Dungeons and Dragons. It's not gonna happen, not tonight. It looks hard, like you gotta do math and use your imagination. I tonight. It looks hard, like you gotta do math and use your imagination. Oh, not tonight, not tonight, not tonight, not tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sarah Donner.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Q Murphy.
Oh, thank you.
Are you gonna play some more music?
I will in a minute, but I want to talk a little bit about the genesis of that song. Is this something that is so prevalent in your life that you felt the need to write a song about it, or is this one of those non-autobiographical ones?
Yes, it is very prevalent in my life. My husband partner Michael plays Dungeons and Dragons there he is. Weekly, and no, I've just been in the orbit of a lot of nerds and a lot of people that do regularly play Dungeons and Dragons, and I always felt like I should like it, but I was never drawn to it. But like a lot of people that were in my orbit were into it, and I just felt like, what's wrong with me? Why don't I like this? And then I did try. I've tried a few times to play. I really appreciate it, but like I said, like there's a commitment to this game that I'm totally fine with, like 45 minutes of, like I said, Uno, which I played with my dad the other day. And some other games. I like games, but I feel like it involves a group of. I'm not a good team player. I think that's part of the singer-songwriter thing of me too. Is like it's hard to be a team player. I would never be in a band that wasn't just my name, because I'm a terrible team player. And I feel like that's a really big aspect of Dungeons and Dragons. So. I appreciate it, but I'm not into it. Okay.
I will say I've been kind of excited. I've not played regularly since I was in high school. Just a handful of games here and there. I don't have a character that I live and die by. But I've been really excited to see the post-Stranger Things resurgence of interest in Dungeons and Dragons from the teenagers, especially in corners of the world you might not think that it would happen. Like in my school last year, before COVID shut the fucking world down, we actually had a very like exciting and burgeoning Dungeons and Dragons club. And in terms of demographic, we are talking about 13-year-old Mexican American and Chinese American, predominantly kids in Brooklyn, who are not who we generally think of as the D&D kids. And yet there they were, gathered around their English teacher after school 1 or 2 days a week, learning the ins and outs of the game just because they'd seen it on Stranger Things, and they were so stoked for it.
That's a really great, I like that version of the Dungeons and Dragons story. Like it does draw. It's a community game, and if you can find that community, you will be drawn to it. So in that way, I do think that's a game where you can find your tribe. I think that's really rad. I'm just afraid of commitment and like saying I can do. I'm afraid of saying like I could commit to doing anything every week at the same time, unless I'm being paid for it. So
Wait, am I being paid for it? Wait! I get to do this.
I'm being paid for this? What?
Well, watch this. Oh my goodness! Check it out. Because we're on this new platform, and because for the first time ever, I put a little bit of money into this thing. I doubt I'm ever going to make any money doing this Tuesday Night Livestream. NBC, are you listening? But I am really enjoying it, and I'm enjoying making it look and sound better as time goes on. So I'm spending a little bit of money, and I would love to at least be able to recoup those costs. So starting this week, I'd happily take Venmo donations from anybody out there that wants to send them Venmo or Bob Green. In addition to the fact that I'd like to, at least pay for this small little thing, 2/3 of all donations that I get will go directly to whoever the featured artist is that night. So if you love what Sarah's doing, and I can put Sarah's financials up there later if she wants me to, if you send me any money, 2/3 of that money, whether you send me 40 cents or 84 cents, I'll do the math. 2/3 of that will go to Sarah Donner for her excellence here tonight. So I'm going to leave that scrolling for a minute, and I'm going to say one more Dungeons and Dragons thing, because I was literally thinking about it today. And it's a little connected to us. Sarah Donner and I both went to choir college together. And there are some days as a singer-songwriter that I feel like my choir college knowledge helps me out. And there are other times where it gets me in a shit ton of trouble as a singer, songwriter, or indie folk, or folk pop, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, musician. But here's one cool thing. It did teach me a lot about different ways to write. Even though I wasn't a composition major, I spent most of my time hanging out with composition majors. And just today on the drive home, and I know I'm not the first to do this, I was actually trying to decide what the best set of dice to buy would be if I wanted to start writing some aleatoric serial music. I have a friend that's been experimenting with this where he rolls 1d12 to determine the root of whatever chord he's going to write. And then he rolls 1d4 to determine whether it's going to be a major or minor 7 chord, because he's primarily a jazz person. And then he tries to write melodies around that are singable. And the other way you can go about it is you roll 1d12 for the pitch, and then you roll like 1d10 for whatever rhythm it's going to be, whether it's a whatever kind of note or rest. And then you figure out where the bar lines are later based on what you wind up with. And then you get what you get. If you can make it work, cool. And if you can't, then the universe has decided you don't deserve to have a good song today.
How does a D10 tell you the rhythm?
Oh, this is what I had worked out roughly in my head. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be something real simple, like 16th, 8th, quarter, half whole, or maybe get a dot in there somehow. But then again, the dot, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 would be the same, but for rests.
Okay.
So if you roll 1d12 and then you roll a 6 or higher on 1d10, you actually wind up with the pitch being wasted for that moment.
So it depends on what you rolled before it.
Yeah, exactly. So you roll 1d12 for the pitch. I mean, I guess you could roll either one first. And if you roll a 6 through 10, then you don't need to roll 1d12. Then you just write the rest down. And then if you roll 1 through 5, then you have to roll 1d12 in order to determine what pitch is going to be on that length of note. A little nerdy, perhaps, but it's one of those things that can kind of get you out of a compositional funk or get you thinking about, a way. Again, this is not entirely mine. My friend Dan Salpaugh, who is a great songwriter and guitar player, and I've actually been taking guitar lessons with him as of late, has been fucking around with this system for most of his quarantine. And he's come up with some interesting stuff. I don't know if it's anything that he's playing for the public yet, but he said he's really enjoyed having to come up with singable melodies that fit over these fucked chord progressions that he gets as a result of rolling the dice, right?
That's so really interesting. That's nice to get out of your, because your hands on the guitar anyways, your hands always go to, G, C, A, 9, blah, blah, blah. There are just certain shapes that's what your hand goes to, but to be forced to, build a melody over some chords that you would never intuitively go to.
I know. So cool, right?
I like that.
Me too. I enjoy it quite a bit. I'll tell you how it shows, how that turns out later on.
Yeah, I'm interested in listening to that. Before I ever would attempt it, I would like to hear what happened.
All right, well, I'll see if Dan has anything recorded and see if I can send it up your way. But he's a pretty smart dude, so yeah, that's how he's writing songs. It's not how I'm writing songs at the moment, but
how are you writing songs?
right now, honestly, I'm not fucking writing songs. We'll talk about quarantine creativity in a little bit, but in some ways, this has been a real drought for me. Like, I have practiced my ass off on the guitar. I think that I'm going to pat myself on the back here. I think I am double the guitar player I was in March, as like both in terms of technique and like inventiveness and vocabulary, ability to improvise, ability to play really solidly and basic and straight ahead, because I've spent so much time with a guitar in my lap, not writing songs. I've been practicing the guitar instead. But I think I've literally written one brand new song since March.
Mm-hmm.
I've revised a lot of old stuff. I've taken stuff off the wood pile and kind of spruced it up. And one or two things have like become part of what I do, but they're not new things per se. Or a couple things that like I kind of knocked out and was considering making part of my life as a performer, like right as we were coming to a grinding halt in March. A couple of those things I've been performing super regularly on the Tuesday Night Livestream. And as a result, I've gotten some good feedback from people, and I've gotten really comfortable performing things that otherwise I wouldn't have known whether or not they're going to stick around, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I 100%. Yes, absolutely. Like I put out one song called "Scream at the Sky" since March. Like,
okay.
That was the one, and it started like I started writing it during COVID, and then just like politically things went, I mean, more south than they had ever been at that point, and so like in the orbit of writing this song, there were a lot of things happening, but that was like the last thing that I could write. I couldn't every time I sat down, I was like, I feel like I'm known for, or I have a knack for writing something upbeat or clever or funny, pretty much like in tandem with the more serious things. And like all I've been able to try and sit down and write has just been so heavy and just awful. And so I just, I'm like, nobody needs to hear anything more dire and heavy than that. So yeah, it's been really hard. That said, after the election after Saturday, I should say, last week, when things started to flip on my end, I did get a text from a drummer of mine named Sam, and they mentioned to me that they had drum mics now, and they're like, if you need anybody. And then like all of a sudden, like I felt like the weights had lifted because of the Biden presidency, and just I suddenly, anyways, I have a new song, and it's going to be released in the next few weeks. But this is the first time I've been excited about anything I've made.
Nice. I know that you and I, in terms of recording and releasing, both do a lot of this work on our own, maybe for different reasons. But I know that you are, while you've spent plenty of times in like legit studios, I know that you are an extensive home recorder, and that you have quite the process that allows you to get so much done on your own. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I've done as well, mostly for financial reasons and impatience reasons, mm-hmm. and inability to commit reasons. But I am pushing myself out of the comfort zone a little bit. And speaking of things I'm proud of, I'm actually going into the studio this weekend to make I've been avoiding this for my entire life as a singer-songwriter. I'm going to make like a proper sounding recording of just like two of my songs with voice and guitar. I know that's like fucking first grade singer-songwriter shit. That's like what you do when you want to get your first gig. But because I'd been playing in New York for so long, when I decided to put my own name on the sandwich board, mm-hmm. I just fucking skipped a bunch of steps, and I was able to kind of get some things going on based on like shitty little connections I had. And looking back, like if you look at my catalog, there are no like legit sounding recordings. And there have actually been a couple rooms that I've tried to get into where I'll be like, hey, can I get on your schedule for next season? And I kind of get like no, you can't get on our schedule, despite the fact that like a lot of dope people I'm friends with that look upon my work highly are like, you'd be great in this room. And not too long ago, somebody pointed out, it's like, well, dude, none of your recorded output reflects what you're going to show up and do at that venue. You have these like lo-fi, somewhat homemade recordings with you fucking talking between songs like you're at a gig, even though you're actually in your car. Nice fancy rooms aren't going to book that. And I was like, you know what? That's fair. But what I was hoping, because all of my Tuesday Night Livestream people are here, and I'm guessing that some of my new friends are here because of you, I was hoping I could use this as a chance to just rehearse one of the songs that I'm going to put down this weekend. Now, please. I am going to do it on guitar this weekend, but because you liked what I did so much before, I'm going to bring the backing band back into this. Yeah. And I promise when I go to the studio this weekend, I won't be like, hey. I promise not to do that. But for right now, I am going to go ahead and do it. And I'm going to sing with my backing track here, a song called No Sand that I'm going to record this weekend. So I'm going to make myself go solo for a minute, if you don't mind. I'll see you back in a few minutes. All right, let's see how this goes, guys. Well, it would be better if it played it all.
Battery, medium.
Oh.
That's it too. iPhone.
All right, that's the Bose speaker. I'm not endorsing Bose. I usually fucking hate Bose. This was a gift from my mother-in-law. It's a great sounding Bluetooth speaker. Here's a song called No Sand. See if I can get the entrance right. Do I sing here? All right, now I know where to come in. We're going to start this one more time. This one goes out to my man, Siege. I don't know if he's watching tonight, but he watches every week, and he always asks for a recording of this song. It's called No Sand. Here we go. It was sooner than I thought it was gonna be, but somehow sadness still got the best of me. Found me with my pants down, caught me with my heart hanging out. And in the moment when I owed an apology, I looked down and my pockets came up empty. I guess I'll have to pay for this in blood. Man, I hope I still have enough. No, I have nothing to give anymore. Nothing's washing ashore. No man's junk nor treasure. Yes, I've dug deep, and all I see is sand. And even that slips through my hands before I can measure just how much is gone. Tell me, how can you measure just how much is gone? So singing praise and gratitude's gonna help you out and remind you that you're not just a pilot out, but you can only try so long before you give up on the song. I train to paint a picture of despair for my friends and foes, but I scare them by its being too on the nose. Cause with abstract art, don't you know, you gotta bring your own shit to the show. Cause I have nothing to give anymore. Nothing's washing ashore. No man's junk nor treasure. Yes, I've dug deep, and all I see is sand, and even that slips through my hand before I can measure just how much is gone. Tell me, how can you measure just how much is gone? Now you're too tired to hear me out. You're too tired to hear me out. but can you see me? 'Cause I'm standing right here. So come on and have a look. You can't find this in a book. Come on and take me by the hand. We'll make love up here. No, I can't do this on my own. We'll make love up here. You and I will make love up here. Yes, we'll make love up here. 'Cause I have nothing to give anymore. Nothing's washing ashore. No man's junk nor treasure. Yes, I've dug deep, and all I see is sand. Even that slips through my hand before I can measure just how much is gone. Tell me, how can you measure just how much is gone? All right. Washing my hands right now. All right. Thank you so much for those of you that were indulgent of that rather loud singing. I feel better having sung it again, and it feels good to sing it without a guitar in my hands. Actually feels really weird to sing it without a guitar in my hands. But, you know, the backing band is always my friend. Hey,
I like that
thank
a
you.
lot.
Thank you very much.
You tapped into some drama. You went musical theater on my ass right there.
Don't tell anybody. That's something singer-songwriters don't always like to hear about. Although, you know, I will say, one of these days, because I secretly do know about musical theater, like a lot about me. One of these days, when you do one of your theater shows, I'm going to convince you to let me come and sing something. I don't know what's been. I do. I don't know what's been taken and what hasn't. But there are some things that I've worked on throughout the years that I'd be happy to come down and sing. So next time you are down this way and you do your Cabernet Cabaret, did I say it the right way?
You did, yes.
Next time you do your Cabernet Cabaret, when the world is allowed to open up again, I would love to sing something. I could bring my list. I'd be happy to sing something from any musical theater decade you want. My tastes generally do skew a little older, but I mean,
like Rodgers and Hammerstein or like Sondheim?
Both. I think that I don't know if I can quite do the Sondheim patter. I feel like my voice is a little. Jim, how the fuck did you know that? Yes, I'm not gonna lie. I fucking crushed Finishing the Hat. I crushed that song. I don't know if anybody's sung it at your thing before. I don't know how they haven't because it's the greatest song of all time.
No. Is there a recording of you singing that somewhere?
No, I've actually only performed it in public once for my friend's birthday party. We put together this pickup band called was it Beef Uncle and Oats? Basically, it was people just loved hanging out and jamming, and we did this wild set for my friend's birthday wherein we played like Captain Beefheart songs and all sorts of like, you know, random classic rock and R&B songs from the last 50 years. And at some point at a jam session, because we used to start at 9 and go to like 3 at my friend's rehearsal space, and we'd all get high as fuck. And just like, I remember one night, because one of my friends is just a fucking genius. I remember he played all of Act 2 of Joe's Garage by Frank Zappa by himself at the piano. And the rest of us were so stoned and the music is so complicated that we all just laid on the floor and listened to him do this. All the characters. So this is the kind of environment that we hung out in at the time. And at some point I was like, I would love to sing this Sondheim song. And 2 of the people had never heard it before. And 2 of them were like, oh, that song is dope. We did, honestly, like a jazz fusion version of Finishing the Hat with like soaring guitar solos and like really cool, like quasi 70s jazz bossa nova type beats. It was.
I feel like that's where it belongs, honestly.
What a good show.
Like Sunday in the Park with George is so.
Yeah.
Yes.
I saw it. I saw the London production that came to New York. I guess it was about 15 years ago now, with Daniel. Shit, what was his name? Oh my God, I can't remember the guy who played George, but he was fantastic. In some ways, I like his take on Finishing the Hat even more than Mandy Patinkin's. I know that's like blasphemy. But anyway, wifey and I went to see it, and it was the closing night of the run. They had already done it in London, and now they've done it in New York, and they couldn't get through the closing number. The Sunday reprise at the very end, they all just like broke down, and it was just like this, and the audience fucking broke down because everybody knew that we had just seen close to 3 hours of fantastic theater. And we were just having this cathartic experience about, oh my God, what this show represents. Oh my God, these people that have been on this run of it together for so long. It was, it was just fucking beautiful. It made me so happy.
Have you?
Sorry.
You just said Mandy Patinkin, and then I started thinking of like all like my recent Mandy Patinkin like fangirl moments. Like I don't know if you've been following Mandy Patinkin on Twitter and like through the election. No, okay.
No, talk to me.
Mandy Patinkin has. Well, first of all, Mandy Patinkin was involved, obviously, in so the Princess Bride cast did a Princess Bride reunion for the Wisconsin Democratic Fund or whatever, and like Mandy Patinkin.
I saw that.
What's that?
I saw that.
Oh, you
That
saw
was
that?
awesome.
Yeah. Like
Yes.
Mandy Patinkin's performance, just I was like, oh. And like I knew of Mandy Patinkin, like I've always been a fan. I feel like in musical theater, and his singing voice is very much an acquired taste, and this is Mandy Patinkin, and so, yeah. Anyways, I don't know what my point was with that, but like, yeah, Mandy Patinkin, but also acquired taste, and I could definitely. Like you saying like, oh, somebody else did it better was like, no, I could see that. But I think that's also like Lin-Manuel Miranda, like as Hamilton is fantastic, but there are better actors and singers that can do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Mandy Patinkin's a Sondheim player, and there's only like, not everybody can do the Sondheim thing convincingly. You know, I saw this weird thing online. I don't know what fucking fandom I was fishing in that day, but like I saw somebody that was listing the people that were both Aaron Sorkin and Stephen Sondheim players. And it was like Joanna Gleason and like one other person. And then somebody took it to the next level. They're like, is there anybody that's done Sondheim and Sorkin and Joss Whedon? And they couldn't come up with anybody. If you can come up with somebody, that would be dope. But you know what else? Mandy Patinkin did one of the classiest things in a long time. Do you remember 2 years ago? What's his name? Okierete Onadawan. Did I pronounce that right? Oak from the original Hamilton cast took over the lead role in Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812. And I went and saw him in that show, and it was fucking great. And he did like a limited run of it. And then I think the show was like maybe going to close. So they did like a stunt casting thing where they were like, for the last gasp, they brought Mandy Patinkin in to play the part. And like, honestly, Mandy Patinkin would have fucking crushed that role. But he respected, like, as a moment, in like post Eric Garner, but pre George Floyd world, he's like, I'm not going to like take the end of this run from a young black actor.
Yeah.
Like, just because I'm some old white dude that can sell tickets. Like, I'm just not going to do it. And he just like divorced himself from the project. And I was like, that's a fucking class move, Mandy Patinkin. I can get behind that. You are the fucking man. I love it.
Yeah.
But hold on. Wait, we need to shut the fuck up. Because you haven't played a song in like a half an hour.
But we've been talking about things that I like talking about. So
me too. And we can talk until the cows come home. But I think the show is supposed to be about writing songs and not Mandy Patinkin. I mean, they're the same thing as far as I'm concerned. But I'm going to get out of the way, and I'm going to have my guest, Sarah Donner, play another song for you guys. So, Sarah, please take it away. Make it magic.
All right. We'll get back on board, back on task. Gonna continue with the mental health issues. This is a song from 2 albums ago. It's called Phoenix, and I gleaned a lot of the lyrics from some questions to folks about what is it that you do that helps you. What is it that helps you take a step out of your brain and like to doing something that's healthy for you? Because I feel like in my own life, I call it, I gotta put on my pants, and it's literally like putting on gym pants, yoga pants, whatever. Because if I get the pants on in the morning, that's the first step to actually getting out the door and going to the gym, which I don't do anymore because COVID. But I still put on those pants, and I have a treadmill now that I try to get on every once in a while. Put on all that makeup. Put on all that style. Put on all your armor and stare at you for a while. Running out of playbooks, running out of spoons, running out of your head till you're out of moves. And I can learn to dance and memorize the turns to rise up from the ash. Gonna have to burn. Shoes left in the corner, clay thrown on a wheel. Smaller situation can change the way you feel. Breathing in, just breathing. Messing with your mind. You don't have to go far. Take one step outside, and I can put on pants when my brain starts to hurt. Rise up from the ash. Gonna have to burn. Gonna have to burn. Whenever the world is winning, you feel like you're stuck there sitting top of your hands, looking with the smallest gesture. It's not gonna change the weather, but everything feels better when you have a plan. Given the point of pressure, line up to join the measure, cause building it up together is how we can stand. Alone, alive, I won't deprive the smallest side. I got a light beneath the pyre, and from the fire I can fly. I can fly, and I can learn to dance when my brain starts to hurt. To rise up from the ash. Gonna have to
I just threw a link up on the screen. If anybody wants to hear that song again when we're not on the show anymore, I think you can copy and paste. Maybe, I don't know if it works on the screen, the link to the YouTube video for this song that Sarah just played. But I'm going to take it away pretty soon because Sarah's going to play another song for us. If you're looking at the bottom of the screen, you'll see that little eyewitness nose squirrely majig is telling you how you can follow all of Sarah's stuff. If you're here because you're used to seeing me on Tuesday nights and you're really liking seeing Sarah and you want to see more of her, please go and follow her Instagram, on Facebook, at Twitter, and all the other places. She's an incredibly active artist and active with social media. So I'm going to shut up and let her play more songs.
Thank you, Chris Q. Murphy. Really appreciate the opportunity to come out Tuesday night. Usually by this time on Tuesday night, I'm just like trying to find some kind of like leftover HBO show.
Same.
I'm like, thank you so much, and thank you for doing this. I'm gonna go ahead and jump onto a song called Tree Line that I wrote a long time ago, and it will be
A Sarah Donner classic, if you will.
It's a classic. Classic. I was just gonna blame the humidity. I live very close to the ocean, but also just lazy about tuning. Nope. Hold on a second. We're not gonna be that lazy. I'm gonna like pull out the app and shit.
Well, while Sarah's tuning, I'll tell the following joke. What's the difference between roast beef and pea soup? Anybody can roast beef, but
Oh wow.
yeah, that one was pretty bad. I know. Oh, that sounds pretty good though. All right, I'm out of
There
here.
we go. In my backyard, I have boxes. I have spices and parked cars. In your backyard, you have mountains, you have highway, you see the stars. But I don't see stars from my backyard. Oh, I believe that they are there. If you see one, would you wish on it for me here? Eyes on the tree line and feet in the sand. These things surround me, I can't breathe in, but you won't see me in the valley. And on your mountain, you have branded an initial monogram. In my window, I have neon, not much brighter, but draws me in. If I can't make it to the summit, oh, would you send someone down? How far back up if I can't make it up on my own? Eyes on the tree line and feet in the sand. These things surround me and I can't breathe in, but you won't see me in the valley. Eyes on the tree line and feet in the sand. These things surround me, but I can't breathe in, but you won't see me in the valley. No, you won't see me in the valley.
Sarah Donner, I received a textual message during that song from somebody saying that that is their favorite Sarah Donner song.
Oh, I'm
And
gonna.
it's one of mine, too. It's one of mine. I still remember the video of you and your partner there on tour with you in the passenger seat playing this song.
Right?
It was a magical feeling. It was like such an incredibly well done moment, like kind of watching the scenery pass you by out the window a little bit. It was so awesome. It was so awesome. I love that.
That was like my that was Montana right there. Those are my best Montana memories. If you watch the video.
Oh, did that? Am I remembering correctly that song got a little NPR love?
It
Back when
did. It did.
Yeah, nice. That's some pretty dope praise you got there. That's impressive.
Yeah.
I think that your general demographic trend's a little lower or younger than the NPR demographic, but you know what? Those
I
people
didn't know what lower than the NPR.
not lower, younger.
Lower.
No. But those people buy fucking CDs. I'll tell you what.
They do. Oh my gosh, yes. Like I will continue to have CDs made in smaller runs, but yes. But like someday when we can be in a space, people like to buy things, and so CDs are a thing you can buy, or catnip toys, whatever. Yeah.
People like to buy things. Did you say?
They do. They do like to buy things.
You mean there's a way for people to give us money for our goods and services?
You should. People should definitely give you money for you. Look at you. You've got like a.
I know.
Banner. People throw some money in this tip jar.
Yeah, listen. I spend.
How long have you been doing this? Since March?
I've been doing a regular Tuesday Night live stream since the last week in April. I did a couple in March and April, but I made it a regular thing on Tuesdays in April.
Yep.
And then at the beginning of August, I started having special guests on. And there have been a couple weeks that I've still gone solo and just like played a bunch of my songs. But by and large, it's been me and special guests since August. And like I said before, I'm booked straight through the end of the year. And as those of you see stuff scrolling across the bottom of the screen, I'd like to be able to throw a couple of bucks at these artists. Thus far, they've all donated their time to be here with us because I'm not making any money doing this, and I can't necessarily pay everybody. And a lot of the people that have come on are people that make the majority of their income as performing musicians, as professional songwriters, etc. And as you might imagine, their industry, as it were, has taken quite the hit. Sarah, I know that you spend a good chunk of your year on tour, you know, as an independent artist who, again, Sarah has done everything she's done, and she's done a fucking lot. Go peep her shit online. You'll see that she's
not in the past like 7 months. I haven't done shit in the past 7 months. But.
Dude, that doesn't count. No, that doesn't count for anybody. But like
that's what my therapist says. She's like, it's fine. It's fine.
It is. Listen, you have a video on the internet that has like in the millions of hits. Yeah. Do you remember a couple of years ago? I texted you because I was hanging out after school with some kids in my music club, and there was just like some downtime, and I was bragging on my friends, and I pulled up that video, and one of the fucking, again, this 7th grade or 8th grade, this 13-year-old Puerto Rican girl from Brooklyn who had no idea who the fuck you were was like, oh, I've seen this video. Everybody's seen this video. And I was like, Sarah Donner's fucking famous.
It goes beyond generations. It's a classic. The motherfucking pterodactyl will just, it'll outlast all of us.
It'll rip up assholes for generations to come.
Oh, Chris Q. Murphy, you're the best.
But seriously, if you toss any money my way, it'll mean that I can keep these fancy-looking banners on the screen, and will also mean that the people that agree to come on the show with me can get a little bit of scratch to either make up for lost income as a result of not being able to tour or play live or sell records to the NPR demographic all over the country when they tour. But also just, remind them that in a capitalist society, even a late stage capitalist society such as this one, I guess there is some value assigned to things based on their monetary value. I don't like that it's this way, but that's the way it is. And let's show these people that we appreciate what they do by tossing a little coinage in their direction. There's a way to do it. It's going across the bottom of the screen right now. Sarah, is there another way that people can regularly give money to you on a quite regular basis?
Yes, I do have a Patreon page, patreon.com/Sarah Donner.
There it is.
If you're in the Patreon community, it's basically a subscription service where you get early access and like special. I'm going to be sending out I only send out holiday cards to my Patreons and that kind of thing. But you can subscribe from anywhere from $1 to whatever you want, just to toss a few coins in the bucket. And that's like a major part of my income. And I'm super duper grateful for all the folks that do subscribe on Patreon.
For those of you that have never checked out Patreon or given anybody money on Patreon, it's kind of like a Kickstarter in perpetuity. Mm-hmm. Instead of giving your friend that one $20 donation so they can make their next album or do whatever, you're giving this person a little bit of money every month, PBS style, to keep them doing what they're doing, mm-hmm. and make sure that they can afford to do what they need to do to make the best art possible. And Sarah is one of the people that has turned to Patreon in the last couple of years to make sure that whether or not she's in your city on tour, or if you're all fucking stuck home, afraid of COVID, and you should be afraid of COVID. Don't misconstrue that to mean that I'm talking stupidity here. You can still make sure that Sarah Donner's music is getting into your ears and that your money is getting into her pocket. Right? Cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, and definitely, if you haven't made sure that you follow Sarah on all these things to make sure that you can still see what she's doing at all times. You should totally do that. Sarah has a following in the cat lady community as well. That's not really the purview of this show, but I think if you reach out to Sarah, she will show you how to get the most incredible live cat videos.
Indeed.
On the internet.
Yes.
Ever. So, ever. And there's more great cat content yet to come. Right? Oh,
in case you were doubting.
There we go.
This is my girl Neeners.
Hi, Neeners.
She's from the Monty Python litter. She is Nee, as in the Knights Who Say Nee.
Oh, I fucking love it.
He has a lot to say.
Nice to meet you, Neeners. Thank you for being a guest on my show.
Thank you.
Patreon is like a sustainable member. Wow, that's a really well put thing.
Do you have a Patreon, Chris?
I don't have a Patreon. Honestly, I'm. This is going to sound weird. I'm trying not to saturate the market, as it were. I'm very lucky to have a full-time job that pays me well enough to own a house in New York City, mm-hmm. Or at least to give the bank a little bit of money every month to let me think I own a house in New York City. And even though I am a regularly performing artist in New York, I feel like there are a lot of people out there who make this as their only line of work. And if I'm going to intrude onto their gig space and the bandwidth that they need to populate in order to pay rent and feed themselves, I'm certainly not gonna go ahead and try to dig into the same pockets as well. If I were a full-time musician, if this were my main thing, you bet your bippy I would have a fucking Patreon. I'd be shouting it from the rooftops. I'd create so much fucking content. It would be insane. No, I'm lying. I have 2 small children at home. I wouldn't create shit. I would just sit around and hope people give me money for stuff I recorded when I was 19. But you do have a Patreon, and I know that you are constantly working on stuff. And I know that people around the country have connected to you personally as fans. And that's why you've been able to be so successful, despite the fact that you've never had management or label or anybody backing you, which, you know, to this day, I still find absolutely astonishing. Your hustle is unbelievable.
Oh,
Or in the words of Lynn, non-stop.
and stop, except from March to November. But
Again, I don't think anybody but fucking Lin-Manuel Miranda has made anything new since March.
did he? Did he even?
You know what? Maybe he didn't even. And if he's not working on something new, then we can all feel okay. Yeah, if that motherfucker's just chilling at home, we can all chill the fuck at home. Right?
Yeah.
Well, listen, we usually cut these shows off at an hour, but because we're on this new platform and Instagram be damned, we've gone a little over an hour. But that being said, I think that we should start to think about letting everybody get to bed. So I'm going to go ahead and say good night to everybody. I'm going to thank Sarah Donner for she fell down. She's no fun. She fell right over. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to thank I'm going to thank Sarah Donner for coming on the show and chatting and playing us songs. If you're here for me and you're meeting Sarah for the first time, make sure you give her a follow on all the things. If you're a friend of Sarah's and you're here seeing me for the first time, please give me a follow on whatever platform you're watching, because I do these shows every Tuesday. We have another great show coming up next Tuesday. Can't wait to share my special guests with you once again. In the meantime, don't forget that just because somebody doesn't look like you or think like you, it doesn't mean that their thoughts aren't valuable. You don't have to respect them, but you have to recognize them. And if we can just slow our roll a little bit, we might get out of this crazy fucking year that is 2020. Much love to absolutely everybody that's tuned in. Much love to Sarah. Sarah, you have anything that you want to say before we sign off?
No, just thank you very much for having me, and everybody should jump on board on Tuesday nights and check out Chris's show.
Thank you.
So are you moving to this stream?
Yeah, for Inside Baseball to regular watchers, we're using just a web service called StreamYard for the first time this week. I generally do a broadcast on Instagram, which I simultaneously rebroadcast onto Facebook using third-party software and lots of annoying steps. And a couple weeks ago, my friend Ali Aslam, who was actually on the show back in August and put out a fantastic record 2 weeks ago called The Last American, which you should all fucking go listen to. He did an album release night of sorts where he had all the people that contributed to the album who are songwriters themselves come on and play some songs. And he sent me the StreamYard link, and I clicked into it, and he put together a really seamless and nice looking show. And I was like, dude, that was fucking dope. And it looked slick and it was easy. And I did it on my phone, and I know somebody else did it on their iPad. And he's like, yeah, it's StreamYard. So I was like, I got to get on that shit. So unfortunately, people on Instagram, if they're still watching us at home, they're seeing the line between us, and they're seeing your right ear and my left ear.
Oh wait, could we make it
we had a sound check. No, now we just look like one person.
Wait.
Wait. Well, wait. Let me back up a little bit.
I gotta go forward.
Wait. And let's try. Wait.
Is that it? Somebody take a screenshot of that.
Oh, that's fucking weird.
Right.
I don't know how I feel about that. I don't like that. I love you, Sarah, but I don't like that. Anyway, this allows me to simulcast to YouTube and Facebook, and also through a sneaky kind of way to Instagram. The people on Instagram just can't fucking see everything. Like when you're solo like this and you're in the middle of the screen, they can probably see most of you, or at least your left shoulder. But when we're together like this, they can't see shit, which is why I've had the little, it's funny. I can't get the top. David C., you're commenting here. I can't get the top and bottom halves thing to work as I move us around the screen. Yeah, right? Isn't that cool? I can't seem to get the top and bottom half thing to work. It looks like Daniel might have emailed me some cool new information.
Oh, he's good at that.
I know. Well, I came, guys, I thought I said goodbye like 5 minutes ago, and I just didn't. As Sarah and I go on and on, a couple months ago, Sarah had me on her show, Quarantine-a-Palooza, which is a fantastic web variety show that she's been running during quarantine. Mm-hmm. And I was like so mesmerized by the fact that she essentially had like a tech crew that sent me like a big fucking advance email.
I'm mesmerized that we have that too every week.
Yeah, like there was a fucking like login for me, and I showed up and I was in a waiting room, and I was like, this is fucking dope. Meanwhile, I'm over here at the coffee shop after hours with my fucking phone, like, what way looks best? If I look at it this way or this way? Let me buy a chintzy fucking light ring off of Amazon, which is gonna break 3 weeks later.
Is that why you look so lit?
Actually, my light ring, there's something wrong and it's not working tonight. I've just found the fucking optimal place to sit in this coffee shop after hours in order to...
You have this like one really random lamp that's right here that it's the only reason that it stays in this room is because... Oh no, I think I lost my sound.
No, I can still hear you. I can still hear
me?
you.
Okay. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I've got some pretty
there's
lighting
light
situations going here.
There's a light up above me in the coffee shop, and I've just figured out where to sit that makes me look like this.
And they let you just come in and play music?
Well, the way it works is it's a local business. I've been friends with the owner since he opened up the first of his 2 shops in this neighborhood. And he generally keeps short hours. He always has. He keeps like more traditional cafe hours, pre-quarantine, like 6:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., that kind of thing. And since businesses reopened in New York this summer from like 9 to 3 every day. So I pay him a pittance. See, I can't make noise in my house because we live in an old house and it's very loud, and I have 2 small children. Which means that even if my wife and my mother-in-law were patient enough to let me like practice guitar or do live streams, it would be problematic. I have a shed out back, and I did a couple live streams from the shed back in March, and it was loud as fuck. The neighbors didn't tell me about it, but they looked at me a certain way that I knew that I had gone overboard.
It's New York, isn't it? Just noisy?
Yeah, but we live in like the suburbs of Brooklyn. We actually live in the Florida of Brooklyn. Fucking anything is legal down here. And everybody in my neighborhood except me voted for fucking Trump. Florida of Brooklyn. So, yeah. So I pay, since I know that he's not using it at night, I throw him a little bit of money every month. And I am a stalwart customer and tell everybody to come to the shop. And I get to come in here after hours and just like, practice the guitar or do live streams. Or like on Thursday night, do parent-teacher conferences. You take what you can get.
Man, you hustle.
It's a different kind of hustle, but yeah, it's just a couple blocks from my house. So when the weather's nice, I can just throw my guitar on my back and walk over here. But anyway, yeah, here I am at the local coffee shop.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, we should really go now. Although, we Americans do drink a lot of coffee. But I also drink tea, Carlos. Yo bebe té y café. I take them a little differently. I like honey and cream in my tea, but I take my coffee black, which to some people means that I'm a serial killer. I don't know if I buy into that line of thinking.
I don't know. You don't have a mustache, so.
Yes, I do.
Now you could be a serial killer. Would
I be cheating for No Shave November if I just shaved all of this off and rolled out one day with just like a big ass mustache? I was like, hey, look what I grew this month.
I think that's valid. Like you've been working on it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can get the little fucking curls.
You've been working on a lot. It's just called editing.
Editing. I like that. Editing. All right. So it's too late to edit any of these things we're still talking about. I can't believe that people are still chatting and tuned in, but they are. So go follow Sarah Donner's shit, follow my shit. see all the things she's up to, and hopefully I'll see a bunch of you guys next Tuesday. I don't have any dope-ass theme music to play for the end of the show or credits to roll, so I'm probably just going to click a button, and then you're not going to see us anymore. Sound good? How about I do that right now?
Bye.
Right.